Hello and welcome to Thomas Geiger Car. Today with the second generation of the Skoda Kodiaq, or at least the car that wants to become the second generation. Because 8 years after launching the first generation of its first SUV, Skoda is preparing the second generation of its most successful off-road vehicle. And for that reason, they made it even bigger. It's 6 centimeters longer than before, meaning almost 4,80 meters. That translates to more room in the interior, to a spacious feeling. The car is more modern, it has the better infotainment, it has more efficient engines and the better looks. This is something I can't show you right now because it's still camouflaged. And that is for a reason. We're now in summer 2023. The production will not start before early 2024 and it will be summer 2024, so 1 year from now, until this car really hits the market. If you don't want to wait that long for all the details, for a first driving impression and some insights into the second generation of the Skoda Kodiaq, join me on my first test drive and I'll tell you all about it. Skoda has thought a lot about sustainability. They have reduced the drag coefficient, they built in new engines, even a plug-in engine, and they've changed the material in the interior. Less leather, more recycled plastics, more natural fibers and all that stuff. And it really goes to the details. The legendary umbrella that is stored in the door is now from recycled plastic, same as the legendary ice scraper. The first simply clever idea was this ice scraper in the door of the fuel lid, and also this is now made from recycled plastic. I would love to show you the interior because it's really a great step forward, and I've seen the actual car in the studio. And even if this car is still heavily camouflaged with plastic covers all around, I'm not allowed to take the camera in, so you have to see it with my eyes and I'm just describing it. It has a new layout with a big screen, almost 13 inches on top of the dashboard. It has a digital cluster instrument, but there are still lots of physical buttons. Skoda has learned from the mistakes of the mother company Volkswagen with the too many sensor fields, for example, on the steering wheel, and we still have conventional buttons on the steering wheel. And we have something really new. We have a combination of haptic and digital dials to adjust the air condition, to adjust the volume of the sound system, to change the drive modes. There are 3 dials with a digital center, and you can use them maybe like you know it from Range Rover. So you have different functions, you press them once, you change the function, and then you just roll it like the Range Rover system or a bit like the iDrive controller from BMW. Looking fancy, is modern, and is still traditional to use and to operate, so that should be a really easy task. When we drive the Kodiaq prototype for the first time, there is one thing you initially realize as a big change. The gear lever is gone here and it sits now behind the steering wheel to make room for more storage capacity. And since there is no manual transmission offered anymore, it makes sense to make use of that space for simply clever solutions. The other thing you realize from the first meter on is the little noise in the vehicle. Not that the old one was a really loud car, but there was room for improvement and Skoda has made use of that room. The car is better insulated. You can for the first time ever order insulated glass. There is a better drag coefficient. The rolling resistance of the tires has been reduced. Overall, it makes the car more silent, more sovereign. It gives you a bit of an upper class feeling. When it comes to the engine, we're talking about the same engine as before, but the next evolution of the engines. We have a 1.5 liter TSI petrol engine with 150 horsepower in the base model and a 2 liter 4-cylinder with 204 horsepower in the top model. We have 2 diesels with 150 horsepower and 193 horsepower, and the most powerful derivatives of both sides are offered with all-wheel drive as well. And for the first time ever, Skoda is offering the Kodiaq with a plug-in hybrid. A combined power of 204 horsepower, an electric range of roughly 100 kilometers, and to really make use of this electric range, they heavily invested in charging. You can charge AC with up to 11 kilowatts, and you can charge even DC, at least with 50 kilowatts. So it's not a game of passion, it's really quick charging, and you can make use of this 100 kilometers and you can bridge the gap towards electric driving. Thank you for joining me on that first test drive with the prototypes of the next generation Skoda Kodiaq. A car that kind of sits between the ages. We're in the transition to a full electric automotive industry, but we still have to bear in mind that there are many people not willing or not able to afford an electric vehicle, and this car has to bear them in mind and has to bring them into the future as well. And Skoda has done a tremendous job with it. As I can say, it looks much better than before, even if the outgoing model already was a beauty, because I've seen the renderings and I've seen the real car. I just can't show you. It drives much better, it has the more efficient engines, and it already can drive a little bit of electric, because for the first time ever there will be a plug-in hybrid with 100 kilometers of electric range. So yes, it is not the most modern SUV that you can buy, but I think it's the best of the old world and a car that will bring people into the future. And all the rest is to see when the covers are off and we can go for a longer drive. Thank you, 谢谢, 再见, and goodbye.